gives us great feedback here on stage, and our performers love it. The more noise you make, the better they perform. So I'm going to pass the stage over to the one, the only, Mr. Keith Coleman as Johnny Cash and the lovely Ruby Tuesday. Give him a big round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. I hear that train coming, rolling round the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. I be dragging on. That train keeps rolling all down the side of the road. I was just a baby, my mama told me, John, always be a good boy, don't never play with guns. I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. That train keeps rolling, I hang my head and cry. From some fancy dining car, probably drinking coffee, smoking big cigars. I know I had it coming, I know I can't be free. That train keeps rolling, that's what tortures me. That railroad train of mine, I'd probably move it on a little farther down the line. Far from Folsom Prison, that's where I want to stay. I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. Thank you very much, I'm Johnny Cash. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. What a wonderful audience we have here tonight. I get to do my favorite thing in the whole world. That's a tribute to the great Johnny Cash, the only human on the planet Earth that was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Country Music Hall of Fame, Songwriter Hall of Fame, and Folk Music Hall of Fame. The only one. He got his start in Memphis, Tennessee, down there along with Carl Perkins and Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Roy Orbison, all them rabble-rousers down there in Memphis, ladies and gentlemen. The problem with Memphis is there's nowhere you could play live. If you wanted to play live, you had to go down to the Louisiana Hayride. The first time Johnny Cash ever got to see Elvis play live was at the Louisiana Hayride. He was really impressed with Elvis. He was so impressed with Elvis, he decided he was going to write a special song just for Elvis. But then he found out that Elvis had sent a love note to his potential future girlfriend, June Carter. Said he wasn't going to give that song to Elvis, he was going to do it himself. It's a good thing he did too, because it made him a lot of money. And I'm going to play it for you. It goes just about like this right here. This thing is staying in place up here. Well, get rhythm, if you got the blues, get rhythm, if you got the blues. Oh, because about a diamond shoe, the blue may not be good for you, get rhythm, if you got the blues. Shoe shine more, never gets down, you got the dirtiest job in town. Bending low at the people's feet, when the corner of a windy street. Asked him could I shine my shoes, how he kept from getting the blues. Brandon shook his little head off the shoe shine. will make a lot of good for you. Get rhythm. If you got the blues. Get rhythm. If you got the blues, get rhythm. You got the blues. Jump the rhythm, make it feel so fine. Shake all the troubles from your words, man. Get rhythm. If you got the blues. Sit down, listen to the shoe shine boy. All eyes go, jump the joint. Slap on the shoe, pop the left and right. Pop the shoe shine rag in the hell of time. You stop one to wipe the sweat away. I really want to be working that way. Said I like it with a big white ring. Pop the shoe shine rag and said it again. Get rhythm. You got the blues. Get rhythm. If you got the blues. All because of my diamond shoe. It's the good for you. Get rhythm. If you got the blues. Thank you very much. I want to do the song for you that got Johnny Cash barred from the Grand Ole Opry. There are those of you that have probably heard that the rumor that Johnny Cash used to drink a little too much. Well, I personally don't think that's true. But it is true that he had a few beers the day he showed up at the Ryman Theater. And he had just gotten his hands on this song. He was all excited about it. He started singing it, got carried away, and stomped out all the footlights. Seems they can't take a joke at the Ryman Theater. It was many years before he was ever invited back there. This song has nothing to do with stomping out footlights, but I guarantee you've heard this song. I can almost guarantee it. Goes kind of like this. Well, my daddy left home when I was 3, and he didn't leave much for my ma and me. Just this old guitar and a bottle of booze. I don't care that he run and hid, but the meanest thing that he ever did is, before he left, he went and named me Sue. Now, he must have thought that was a pretty good joke, and he got a lot of laughs from a lot of folks. Seems I had to fight my whole life through. Some gal would giggle and I turn red, some guy laughing, I bust his head. Things just ain't that easy for a boy named Sue. I grew up quick and I grew up mean. My fists got hard, my wits got keen. Rode from town to town to hide my shame. But I swore by the moon and star, I'd search those honky tonks and bars, and I'd find that mangy weasel that named me Sue. Well, that was Gatlinburg in mid-July. I rode into town, my throat was dry. Thought I'd stop and have myself a brew. There on a street of mud, sitting at a table dealing stud with that mangy rat that wouldn't name me Sue. I knew that snake was my own sweet dad by the old photograph that my ma had, and I recognized his scar on his cheek and his evil eye. Big and bent and gray and old, and I looked at him and my blood run cold. I said, hey, my name is Sue. How do you do? Now you are gonna die! Well, I hit him once right between the eyes, and he went down, and to my surprise, come up with a knife and he cut off a chunk of my ear. I busted a chair right across his teeth, and we went through the wall out into the street, kicking and gouging in the mud, the blood, and the beer. Well, I fought tougher men, but I really don't remember when. He kicked like a mule and he bit like a crocodile. I heard him laugh and I heard him cuss. He went for his gun, but I drew mine first, and he stood there in the street and I seen him smile. He said, son, this world is rough, and if you're gonna make it, you gotta be tough. And I knew I wouldn't be around to help you along. So I gave you that name, I said goodbye. I knew you'd have to get tough or die, and you know, it's that name that helps make you strong. Now, you just fought one hell of a fight. I know you hate men. You have the right to kill me now. I wouldn't blame you if you do. But you ought to thank me before I die for the gravel in your gut and the spit in your eye, because I'm the mangy weasel that named you Sue. What could I do? What could I do? What could I do? I got all choked up and I threw down my gun. I called him my pa, he called me a son, and I went away with a different point of view. I think about him every now and then, every time I try and every time I win, and if I ever have a boy, I'm gonna name him Bill or George or Ralph, anything but Sue. That's an awful name. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. With Johnny Cash, he loved cowboys, he loved Indians, he loved everybody. But he especially liked cowboys and train engineers. And I'm gonna do my favorite Johnny Cash cowboy song right now. It's probably my favorite Johnny Cash song of all time. It goes like this right here. Old cowboy riding out one dark and windy day, stopped upon a ridge as he rode upon his way. All at once the mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw all across the windy sky, climbed up a cloudy draw. Their eyes are still on fire and their hooves were made of steel. Their horns were bright and shiny, their hot breath he could feel. A bolt of fear went through him as he rode on through the sky. Heard the riders coming hard, felt their mournful cry. Give me a give me a riders in the sky. That devil's hurt, but they ain't caught him yet. Forced to ride forever on that range up in the sky. There's a storm fire, you can hear their mournful cry. As they rode on by, he heard a cowboy call his name. Save your soul from hell riding on his reins, and cowboy, change your ways today, or with us you will ride. Try to catch the devil's herd across the endless sky. Give me a give me a stage my sweet wife, Miss June Carter. June, would you come out here now?
Hi, y'all. You know, I just couldn't hardly wait to get out here and say hi to everybody. How y'all doing? How's everybody?
Well, June, we're sure glad to see you, but you can't be running around like that. You're going to cause yourself an accident rushing around like
I
that.
have never had an accident in my life, John.
June, you've never had an accident in your whole life.
No. Well, there was that time that big old mean bull threw me over the fence, but...
And you don't call that an accident?
No, I really think he did it on purpose.
Oh.
You know, I had to go to the doctor this morning.
You did?
I did.
Well, what was the deal?
They told me I had to take a pink pill, this little pink pill, every morning with a big glass of water.
Yeah.
And at lunchtime, I have to take a little red pill with a big glass of water. And every night before I go to bed, I take a little blue pill with a big glass of water.
Well, what was the problem?
He said I wasn't drinking enough water.
Oh.
You know, I had to take that old dog to the vet today.
You took your old
I
dog
had
to
to
the
take
vet?
that big old fat dog to the vet. Would you believe he swallowed a bullet?
Your dog swallowed a bullet.
He swallowed a bullet.
What did the vet say?
He said, well, don't point him at me. All right, John.
I'll tell you what now, I don't know if you know this, Johnny Cash was friends with a whole bunch of people that you probably wouldn't think he would be friends with. Him and Bob Dylan was quite close. Matter of fact, he pretty much made Bob Dylan's career. Bob was only known with the folk music people. And then Johnny let him on his television show, even though his producer said, we don't want that hippie on this show. He let him on there anyway. And everyone knew who Bob Dylan was after that. And we recorded a song, yes, and won a Grammy for it. Let's see if you like it. Are you ready? One Leave at your own chosen speed. I'm not the one you want, babe. I'm not the one you need. Well, you say you're looking for someone who's never weak, but always strong, to protect you and defend you, whether you are right or wrong. Someone to open each and every door. It ain't me. No, it ain't me, babe. It ain't me you're looking for, babe. Lightly on the ledge, babe. Go lightly on the ground. I'm not the one you want, babe. Only bring you down. You say you're looking for someone who promised never to part. Someone to close his eyes to you. Someone to close his heart. Someone to die for you and more. It ain't me. No, it ain't me. It ain't me you're looking for, babe. Say you're looking for someone to pick you up each time you fall. To gather flowers constantly and to come each time you call. To love for your life and nothing more. It ain't me. No, it ain't me. It ain't me you're looking for, babe.
tell y'all a little something about this next song before we do it. Well, first time I laid eyes on John here, I was playing at the Ryman Theater with my mother, Mother Maybelle Carter, my sisters, and John came backstage after the show and he said, I'm a really big fan of the Carter family. Well, the Carter family were the first people to ever sing gospel music on the radio. And John was a gospel musician. And he looked right at me and he said, Jim Carter, he said, I am a really big fan of yours. He said, I am going to marry you someday. I said, Lord, he said, I don't need.
Well, what you said was, can you read lips? That's what you said.
Well, I didn't see him again for 7 years after that. But I guess those little black opal eyes of his burned a hole in my heart because I went home that night and I wrote this song. And I didn't dare let John know about it. He'd have seen right through me. But my sister Anita recorded it and John heard it. And then he said, that's a good song. He said, I ain't going to record that song. Well, this is a true story, y'all. John did not know till way after he recorded it that I wrote it about him.
And it goes like?
Well, when I wrote it, it kind of went like this. Oh, happy lady to morning rain. Does that ring a bell? Yeah. And John got hold of it, and this is what he did with it.
Love is a burning thing. It makes a fire rain. Bound by wildest sight, I fell into ring of fire. Oh, I fell into burning ring of fire. I went down, down, down. The flame went higher and it burns, burns, burns. That ring of fire, that ring of fire. Say. Oh, and I fell into burning ring of fire. I went down, down, down. The flame went higher and it burns, burns, burns. That ring of fire, that ring of fire. Lord, taste of love is sweet. When hearts like ours meet. I fell for you like a child. Oh, but the fire went wild. Oh, I fell into burning ring of fire. I went down, down, down. The flame went higher and it burns, burns, burns. That ring of fire, that ring of fire. Oh, and I fell into burning ring of fire. I went down, down, down. The flame went higher and it burns, burns, burns. That ring of fire, that ring of fire. And it burns, burns, burns. That ring of fire, that ring of fire. Well, Joe coming on. Preacher was preaching the other day. He asked that age-old question. If there's anyone in this room here tonight that's perfect, stand up now. One guy stood up in the back of the room. Preacher said, man, you think you're perfect? He said, no, I was standing up for my wife's ex-husband. He couldn't be here. Do one of our Grammy songs for you, Eddie. Well, we got married in a fever, hotter than a pepper sprout. We've been talking about Jackson ever since the bar went down. gonna stoop and bow. All them women gonna make me teach them what they don't know how. I'm going to Jackson, turtle in some of my coat. I'm going to Jackson. Begging's not slowing me down.
Well, go ahead. Well, go ahead, go to Jackson.
I mean it this time.
Listen, y'all, Johnny called me up and asked me to send you a Greyhound bus ticket to come home again, because I'm going to send it this time. All right?
You're a hard woman. Well, doggone, there was a new preacher in town, and he looked just like Conway Twitty. Remember Conway Twitty? You do? He looked just like Conway Twitty. Splendid image of Conway Twitty. He was going around from house to house, knocking on doors, trying to get people to come to Sunday service. First house he went to, little old lady came to the door. As soon as she saw him, she said, "Conway Twitty!" He said, "No, ma'am. I am just the new preacher in town. I want to invite you to come to church this Sunday." She said, "Well, I sure will be there." The next house he went to, the little lady came to the door. As soon as she saw him, she said, "Conway Twitty." He said, "No, ma'am. I'm just the new preacher in town, but I want you to come to church this Sunday." She said, He said, "I sure will be there." Third house he went to just so happened was the new school teacher, just moved to town, beautiful blonde-headed woman. Just so happened she was in the shower when he knocked on the door. She threw a towel around herself and ran to the front door. As soon as she opened that door, she saw him. She got so excited, she dropped her towel and said, "Conway Twitty." He said, "Hello, darling." Here's a song to make up for that. One for the carpet. I remember when I was a lad, times are hard and times are bad. There's a silver line behind each and every cloud. Just four people, that's all we were, trying to make a living on the flatland dirt. We'd get together in the evening singing loud. Daddy sang me,
Mama sang tenor,
me little brother with your light. Singing seems to have a troubled soul. One of these days it won't be long, I'm gonna join them in a song. Join that family circle and grow. Well, the circle won't be broken by and by, Lord, by and by. Daddy sing me,
Mama sang tenor,
me little brother with your light. In the sky, Lord, in the sky. I remember after work, Mama would call in all of us. You could hear us singing for a country mile. Little brother is done gone home, I'm gonna join him in a song. I'll join that family circle and grow. Daddy sang me,
Mama sang tenor,
me little brother join singing, seems to have a troubled soul. One of these days it won't be long, I'm gonna join them in a song. I'll join that family circle and grow. Oh, the circle won't be broken by and by. let us sing bee.
Mama sang tenderly,
Wee little devil, all night and day. In the sky, Lord, in the sky. In the sky, Lord, in the sky. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there was a city slicker from up in Memphis was driving his new Mercedes-Benz around the hills up there in Arkansas a little too fast. Checking out, see how fast that car would go because he just got it. And he was going around the hills. He came around this one particular curve. There was a rooster in the middle of the road. Smushed that rooster flat. Killed the rooster. Ladies and gentlemen, he looked up on the hill. There was a house up on the hill. He walked up the hill, knocked on the door. Farmer came to the door. He said, "Sir, I want to apologize. From the bottom of my heart, I was driving a little too fast there. I went around this curve. Your rooster was right in the middle of the road. I put on the brakes. I couldn't stop." He said, I hate to say this, but I've killed your rooster, but I want to do the right thing. I want to replace that rooster. He said, "Okay, go out in the hen house, introduce yourself to the hens." Think about his growing. I'm gonna take out walking, just you wait and see.
girl, you ain't leaving without me.
Well, you've been my woman.
Long legged guitar-ring man.
Well, we can work this out.
I thought you can.
I stole the whole diamond, trying to get you to shut your mouth.
Yeah, but how am I gonna wear? Got to hide now.
Well, you've been my woman.
Long legged guitar-ring man.
Well, we can work this out.
I think we can. All right, take it, John.
Well, I bought you first class ticket on a luxury liner cruise.
Yeah, but I got it. The ocean looked around and there was you.
Well, you've been my woman.
You long legged guitar-ring man.
Well, we can work this out.
I think we can.
I bought you a big long limousine. You said you didn't want no car.
I gave you my love and everything, and you're still what you want.
Well, you've been my woman.
You long legged guitar-ring man.
Well, we can work this out.
Oh, I think we can.
We can work it out a lot quicker if you'd behave.
I don't know about that, John. I think you are the one that needs to behave a whole lot better than you do, John.
You're hard working. All right, doggone, I think we ought to do another Grammy song. What do you say?
Yeah.
We got a bunch of Grammy songs. How about this one right here? I like this one. I was a carpenter, you were a lady. Would you marry me? Would you have my baby?
You were hard, I was a lady. I never knew anyway. I had to baby.
I'm lonely. I forgot the words. Save my love through loneliness. Save my love love through sorrow, I ain't giving you my loneliness.
Give me a tomorrow.
Would I still find you?
Let's carry on, she may following behind.
If I were a carpenter, you were a lady,
I'd marry you anyway. I'd have to baby.
save my love through loneliness, save my love through sorrow. I ain't giving you my loneliness.
Give me your tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's June Carter.
Thank you so much. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back there. You know, I'm gonna go get me some of that plastic surgery like Dolly Parton has. She says every time she's something sagging, wagging, or dragging, she has it snipped, flipped, or switched. I think she's here tonight. I'm gonna go back and see.
Go check.
Bye, y'all.
June. Well, I told you Johnny Cash was in the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, didn't he? Yes, sir. Just like old Conway Twitty, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis, he was a rock and roller when he got started out. But rock and roll was a little bit different back then. There was only one kind of rock and roll. Nowadays, there's 30 or 40 different brands of rock and roll. You can have your acid rock or your funk rock or your fusion rock. Now back then you just had rock and roll. That's all it was. Rockabilly. Music, rockabilly. You could understand the words to it. You know what I'm talking about? Well, this song back in 1953 to the parents would be considered a heavy metal funk song, ladies and gentlemen. There's a story in our town about the prettiest girl around. Hair of gold and eyes of blue, how those eyes would flash at you. Boys hung round her by the score, but she loved the boy next door who worked at the candy store. She was tops and all they said, and never once went to her head. She had everything it seemed, everything this teenage queen. All the world was at her door, except the boy next door who worked at the candy store. You marry her next spring, he saved his money, bought a ring. Then one day a talent scout came to town to take her out. Hollywood could offer more, so she left the boy next door who worked at the candy store. Pretty soon she was a star, swimming pool and fancy car. Swimming pool and fence around, but she missed her own town. Hollywood cut off her more, So she left the boy next door who worked at the candy store. Then one day our teenage star sold her house and sold her car, gave up all her wealth and fame, left it all and called a trade. Do I have to tell you more? She went back with the girl next door who worked at the candy store. I get that right? It all at the candy store. Heavy metal music from 1953, ladies and gentlemen. Is anybody here old enough to remember Chris Christopherson? A couple of you? You know, back in 1968, things were not going so hot for Chris. He was working as a janitor at a recording studio, and Johnny Cash just so happened was recording there. Chris was trying to slip in cassette tapes to get him to listen to his songs. Well, the owner of the studio caught him and says, "Chris, if I catch you doing that again, I'm going to fire you." So he started slipping them to June. Well, either June wasn't giving them to Johnny or Johnny wasn't listening to them because nothing was happening for Chris. Well, so a little known fact is that Chris was also a member of the Air National Guard. And him and Johnny had a little bit in common, and they liked to drink a little too much in the afternoons. This particular afternoon, Chris had quite a bit to drink, and he borrowed a helicopter from the Air National Guard. And he flew it over to Johnny Cash's house, landed it in the front yard. Johnny was curious. He came walking out to that helicopter. About the time he got to the helicopter, Chris decided he would get out of the helicopter, opened the door, fell out on his head, rolled 3 times, and came up with a cassette tape and said, "I have your next hit right here." Johnny Cash said, "Boy, I like your style." Come on in the house, let's listen to that tape. He listened to us. "I can't believe it. You told my whole life story on one cassette tape. I am going to record that song." It's a good thing he did too, because it made him a whole lot of money and got Chris out of the janitorial business into the songwriting business. And that song, you will be surprised to know, goes like this. I woke up Sunday morning, no way to hold my head, that it hurts. And the beer I had for breakfast tasted good, so I had one more for dessert. I fumbled through the closets, through my clothes, and found my cleanest dirty shirt. I washed my face and combed my hair, stumbled out the door to meet the day. I spoke my mind the night before on cigarettes and songs I'd been digging. I stopped beside a park. I watched a small kid with a can that he was kicking. Walked on down the lane. I caught the Sunday smell of someone frying chicken. And it took me back to something I'd lost somewhere somehow along the way. On a Sunday morning sidewalk was in the Lord that I was stoned. There's something in a Sunday makes somebody do the road. And there's nothing short of dying. I've been lonesome as the sun, sleeping city sidewalk, Sunday morning coming down. In the park I saw a daddy with a laughing little girl. He was swinging. And I stopped beside a Sunday school. I listened to the choir as they were singing. I walked on down the lane. And somewhere a lonely bell was ringing. And it took me back to something I'd lost somewhere somehow along the way. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. Something in a something makes somebody feel alone. And there's nothing short of dying, I'm as lonesome as a stone. Sleeping suicide walk, Sunday morning coming down. I told you about Johnny Cash's television show from 1970 to 1972. He had the #1 television show in the whole world, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody that was anybody wanted to be on Johnny Cash. And ladies and gentlemen, one person that was more than anybody else was Dolly Parton. We haven't had her here tonight. Dolly! Why'd you come in here looking like that? Why'd you come in here looking like that?
There goes my baby. Back in my arms, got me crazy. Oh, he said, love is hot. I got a wandering eye, a friend of mine, big eye ears and a little beat. He's out with the different woman every night. My girl, with me,
Why'd you come in here looking like that?
I know you like the fishing, honey. You'll have to leave my love.
Right in here looking like that.
Oh, you do.
Come in here looking like that.
Y'all dressed up like a deer. Look, you can stop trying to get a gun inside. Awesome guy in here looking like that. How y'all do? I just can't stand you. All to see him on the town. Goes out there with every girl around. Well, I'm a soft-hearted woman. He's a hard-headed man. Gonna make me feel bad on his man. Oh, he's got a blue string, a half a mile wide. Nice dancing on the bar.
Why'd you come in here looking like that?
You can't go to here looking like that. Why you coming in here looking like that? Honey, you can stop carrying up the you don't want me to be a part of that. All right, here looking like that.
Why'd you come in
You
here
got a big
looking
ass
like
fish,
that?
you're not allowed to watch them off now.
Here,
let's get a good picture.
Decked out like a cowgirl dream.
Walking down in here looking like that. Why you come in here looking like that? Honey, you can stop trying to get a gun inside. You're almost giving me a heart attack. Walking around in here looking like that. I'm sorry, not your head. You trying to take a picture? Walking around in here looking like that. How y'all doing over here? How y'all doing
Johnny Cash was born and raised in Kingsland, Arkansas. Moved to Diaz pretty soon after that, but he still ended up picking cotton a whole bunch, which he hated dearly. He wrote a song called I Hate Picking Cotton. Anyway, he joined the military just so he could quit picking cotton. They sent him to Germany right off the bat. He bought his first guitar over there for $5. Started writing songs. Want to go back to Memphis and be a big star. Went back to Memphis, and he ended up being a vacuum cleaner salesman. Door to door. He hated that. Hated that job. So he heard they were making a lot of money in Detroit. So he went up to Detroit, got him a job on an assembly line. Man, he hated that, worse than selling vacuum cleaners. So he went back. He went back to Memphis, met Sam Phillips, started writing songs, and everything kind of smoothed out for him. But you know, that trip to Detroit was not a total waste. He got some great material for a great song, and this is that song right here. Goes like this. Well, I left Kentucky back at 49. I went to Detroit, working on an assembly line. First year I spent putting wheels on Cadillacs. Every day I'd watch them beauties roll by. Sometimes I'd hang my head and cry, cause I always wanted me one that was long and black. Well, I devised myself a plan. It'd be the envy of most any man. I'd sneak it out in a lunchbox in my hand. Now getting caught meant fitting fired. I figured I'd have it all by the time I retired. I'd have me a car worth at least $100 grand. You know how I'd get it? I'd get it one piece at a time. Wouldn't cost me a dime. You know it's me when I go through your town. I'm gonna ride around in style, drive everybody wild. I'll have the only one that is around. Now the first day when I checked in with my big lunch box and help from my friends, I left that day with a lunchbox full of gears. I never considered myself a thief, but Jim wouldn't miss just one little piece, especially if I strode it out over several years. Next day I got me a big fuel pump, then I got an engine and a trunk, then I got a transmission and all the chrome. The little stuff we got in my big lunchbox, like nuts and bolts and all 4 shocks, but the big stuff was snuck out in my buddy's mobile home. Up to now, everything was all right till we tried to put it together one night. Then we realized that something was definitely wrong. Oh, the motor was a 53, and the transmission was a 63. When we put the bolts in, all the holes is gone. Well, we drilled out the hole so the bolts would fit, and with a little bit of help from an adapter kit, we had that motor running just like a song. Oh, the headlights, they were quite a sight. We had 3 on the front and 2 on the right. We pulled a switch out, all 5 of them come on. And the rear end looked a little funny too. When we put it together, what we do was, I swear, it only had one great big tail bend. About then, my wife come out. I could see in her eyes that she had her doubts. But she hopped in the back and said, "Y'all take me for a spin." Well, we headed uptown to get the tags. I drove straight up that big man drag. You could simply laugh at me for miles around. But at the courthouse, they didn't laugh. Cause they righted up and took the whole stack. And when they was through, the title weighed 40 pounds. You know how we got it? I got it one piece at a time. Wouldn't cost me a dime. You know it's me when I go through your town. I'm gonna ride around and style, drive everybody wild. I'll have the only one that is around. Wait a minute, I'm getting a call on my CB. Anybody remember what CBs? That's before cell phones were there. Come in, good buddy. Red Rider, is that you? Yeah, this is the Psycho Billy Cadillac coming back at you. What's that? What's that? The price of this car? Why, you might say just drove it up to the factory and picked it up. They're cheaper that way. What'd you say? The year of this automobile? Funny you should ask. It's a 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61 automobile. Here's a 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now Johnny Cash, back in about 1969, his career was kind of sinking a little bit. He went to his record company. He said, "I want to go to Folsom Prison and record a live album." And they said, "Have you lost your mind completely? Who's going to buy it?" He said, "Well, if you don't pay for it, I will." And he did. He got a whole crew together, went down and recorded live at Folsom Prison. Brought it back and played it for RCA Records. They said, "Man, that's some good stuff. We'll put money behind that." It's a good thing they did, because it's the biggest selling album he ever had. And I want to do for you the #1 requested song by the prisoners at Folsom Prison. Yeah. Now you're going to appreciate this a little bit more if you pretend you're a prisoner, okay? Goes like this. Early one morning I was making the round. I took a shot of cocaine, I shot my woman down. I went home and I went to bed, put that loving 44 beneath my head. Early next morning I grabbed that gun, took a shot of cocaine, away I run. I run real good, but I run too slow. They caught up with me in Juarez, Mexico. Sitting on a hotbed, popping the pill. Then walked the sheriff from Jericho Hill. He said, "Willie, your name is not John Brown. You're that dirty hack that shot your woman down." "Yeah, my name is Willie Lee. You got a warrant, just read it to me. I shot her down 'cause she made me slow. I thought I was her daddy, but she had 5 more. When they caught me, I was dressed in black. Put me on a train and they sent me back. I couldn't find one friend to go my bail. They threw my dried up carcass in that county jail. Early the next morning, about 9:30, I heard the sheriff coming down the line. He coughed, he hacked, he cleared his throat. He said, "Come on, dirty hacking, to that district court." And through that court my trial began. It was handled by 12 honest men. Just as the jury started out, I saw that little judge commence to look about. About 5 minutes, a man walked in. He had the verdict in his right hand. That verdict read in the 1st degree. I said, "Lordy, Lordy, have mercy on me." That judge just grinned and he picked up his pen. Said, 99 years in an Folsom pen. 99 years underneath that ground. I can't forget the day I shot my woman down. Hey, everybody, listen to me. Lay off that whiskey. Let that cocaine be. Words to live by. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but Johnny Cash and Elvis used to have a little bit of a friendly rivalry. Elvis started doing an impression of Johnny Cash in his show. So Johnny Cash started doing an impression of Elvis. If you don't believe me, pull it up on YouTube tonight. Just put in there Johnny Cash Elvis impersonation by Elvis or whatever. Trust me on this, it's going to come up. So I'm going to reproduce a little bit of that for you. You'll have to bear with me. Tuck this cord in so I don't look too goofy. Put on this costume change. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Hello. Well, since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell. Down at 10 Lonely Street, real well. the desk clerk dressed in black. I've been so lonely, oh, I'm never coming back, baby. I'm so lonely. I've been so lonely, I could die. Playing hard to get, I love it when they play hard to get. I've been so lonely, I've been so lonely, I've been so lonely, I could die. If your baby leaves you gotta tell to tell. Just take a walk down on the street till I'll ring up down, baby. I've been so lonely. Thank you very much. I've been so lonely. How'd I get here? I've been so lonely, oh, I could die. Thank you very much. That's enough of that foolishness. All right, well, I need my guitar again. Just a minute. Bear with me, I'm coming.
Did you have Tammy one that back here?
No, Tammy's not here tonight. We got something better. We got something better. Oh, it's dark in here. Oh, no wonder it's dark. In 1961, Johnny Cash got a call from his manager. Said, I don't know if you've been listening to the radio, but Patsy Cline's been in a bad car wreck. She's been laid up now for almost 6 months, but now she's out of the hospital. While she's been in the hospital, she got a song climbing the charts up there at the top right now. She needs to get out there and promote that song. But her band's broke up. Would you mind if she joined you on tour? Johnny said, send her on out. That'd be great. And that's how Johnny Cash and Patsy Cline did a tour in 1961. And we're going to reproduce a little of that. Patsy Cline!
How y'all doing? People in my life, song, second row, wearing dreams living songs are all alone. In their arms, on the telephone, and shining shooting up above. In my moonlit path, only you know my road, sun and dawn, moon and all your splendor, known only to my heart. Bring back my rose of it's so sweet and tender, like petals fall apart. Stick one together, mine, that love of the old song and word I still live in my heart. In my moonlit path, only you would know my rose of sun and dawn. Moon and all your splendor, known only to my heart. Bring back my rose of it's so sweet and tender, like petals falling apart. Speak what you can of mine, like my own song of the word I hear, still live in my heart alone. In my moonlit path, despite the pillows, my beautiful rose of sandal, my rose of sandal, my rose of sandal. Y'all remember that song? Thank you so much. Well, you know, I got to tell you about this song now. This song that I'm about to do. Do we have some Patsy Cline fans in the house? Well, I'm the biggest Patsy Cline fan in the world, and I just love singing her songs. And
And this is a song that I'm going to do for you right now that Patsy had climbed the chart. Patsy was in a really terrible automobile accident 3 years before we lost her in the airplane crash. And she was laid in the hospital, and they thought they were going to lose Patsy. And she heard this sweet little voice on the radio, and the voice was singing this song, her Patsy song in tribute to her. And she said, "Who is that girl?" They said, "That's a little girl in town. Her name is Loretta Lynn." She said, "I want to meet that girl." Well, they brought Loretta Lynn to her bedside, and Patsy and Loretta Lynn were just close buds from then on. And this is a song that was climbing the charts when Patsy joined up with John. I fall to pieces each time I kiss you again. I fall to pieces. How can I be just your friend? You want me to act like we never can. You want me to forget, pretend we never met. But I try, I am again. You are mine, and I am on to peace. I fall to pieces each time someone speaks your name. I fall to pieces. I only have to die. Is there anybody in the room tonight old enough to remember a guy named Arthur Godfrey? All right. Well, you know, Arthur Godfrey made Patsy's career. Arthur Godfrey had the Town Scout program, and anybody that was anybody was on it. And he called up Owen Bradley, that was Patsy's manager. They called him Mr. Nashville, because he was Mr. Nashville. He said, "I want Patsy Cline on my show." And Patsy was singing on the stage at the drive-in movie on Saturday night before the movie started. Patsy was only a star for 3 short years of her life. So she had this chance to be on the Arthur Godfrey show, and Owen Bradley says, "Patsy, honey," he said, "I got you a song that's going to make you a star." He said, "This is a great song," and he sent it right over to her, and she was so excited to get it. She listened to it. She said, "I hate that song. So I ain't going to sing that song. It ain't nothing but a little old pop tune, and I'm a hillbilly singer." But she did do it. She did it. She said, "Well, I'm going to do it," but she said, "I'm going to do it my way, because I think if you don't sing a song with feeling, you just ought not to sing the song at all." Maybe she did a little bit like this, I don't know. I go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just like we used to do. I go out walking after midnight, searching for you. I walk on the long highway, just my way of saying I love you. I go out walking after midnight, searching for you. I stop to see we follow around on her pillow. I wonder if she's not me. As the night turns gloomy, night winds whisper to me, lonesome as I can be. I'm walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just hoping I'll be somewhere I'm walking after midnight, searching for me. I stop to see we fellow, crying on her pillow. I wonder if she's not me. As the night turns gloomy, night winds whisper to me, lonesome as I can be. I go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just hoping you might be somewhere I'm walking after midnight, searching for me. Do y'all remember that one? Thank you so much. Yeah, that song made Patsy career. Owen Bradley called her up the next morning. He said, Patsy, honey, he said, you're a star. He said, your records are flying off the shelf. Everybody knows who you are now.
It's back.
So what is your favorite Patsy song before I leave? Crazy I Am. This is a song that was written by Willie Nelson. Patsy didn't like it. She didn't want to sing it, but she did. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so Oh,
You know, Johnny Cash and Patsy Cline had a lot in common in that after the theater was over, they like to sit around out back and have a few beers together. And one night they was having a few beers, and Johnny said, Patsy, where all you done played? And she said,
I've been everywhere, Hoss.
you done been everywhere?
Everywhere?
Man, that would make a great song.
I swear it would.
And that's why Johnny recorded this song. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Cross that desert bare, man. Breathe that mountain there, man. Travel out, had my share. I've been everywhere. Little Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Iowa, Oklahoma, Panama, Panama, Antigua, Bangor, Baltimore, Salvador, Amarillo, Tamarilla, Sangarilla. I'm a killer. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Cross that desert bare, man. Breathe that mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share. I've been everywhere. I've been to Boston, Charleston, Daytona, Louisiana, Washington, Houston, Kingston, Texarkana, Monterey, Faraday, Santa Fe, Appaloosa, Grim Rock, Black Rock, Little Rock, Appaloosa, Tennessee, Tanqueray, Chippewa, Spirit Lake, Grand Lake, Crater Lake, Devil Lake. For Pete's sake, I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Cross that desert bare, man. Breathe that mountain air, man. Travel, I had my share. I've been everywhere. I've been to Louisville, Nashville, Knoxville, Oklahoma, Sugarville, Jacksonville, Waterville, Costa Rica, Pittsfield, Springsville, Bakersfield, Shreveport, Paxack, Cadillac, Fond du Lac, Davenport, Argentina, Alabama, Pasadena, Catalina. See what I mean? I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Cross that desert bare, man. Breathe that mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share. I've been everywhere. I've been to Pittsburgh, Parkersburg, Rebelsburg, El Dorado, Ellsburg, Riggsburg, Vicksburg, El Dorado, Lattimore, Attleboro, Havershaw, Catawba, Chester, Nebraska, Alaska, Oklahoma, Baraboo, Wallabizzoo, Kalamazoo, Kansas City, Sioux City, Cedar City, Rapid City. What a pity! I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Cross that desert bare, man. Breathe that mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share.
I know one place you haven't been.
Oh, I've been everywhere.
You haven't. You haven't been everywhere.
Couldn't do a Johnny Cash show without this one. Oh yeah, this is a hum-along. Are you humming? I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I keep the end out for the tide to find. Because you're mine, I walk the line. Back in the back, you're not humming back there. Oh. Very, very easy to be true. I find myself alone each day through. You know I'd even be a fool for you. Because you're mine, I won't lie. Night is dark and day is light. I want to be with you each and every night. I love it, you only proves that's right. Because you're mine, I walk the line. You found a way to keep me on your side. You give me cause for the love that I can't hide. For you know I'd even turn the tide. Because you're mine, I walk the line. I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. into nighttime now, isn't it? We do have a Johnny Cash CD. I think it's kind of like K-Tel. Every song that Johnny Cash ever recorded on one CD.
We have a limited supply of these CDs
1,500
now.
songs on one
And when they're
CD.
gone, we I'll go out in the truck and get another limited supply.
Just because it's such a good crowd here tonight, we're selling them for, usually we sell them for $30, they're on sale for $10 tonight.
What a deal.
Let's try one more, we'll take it to the house with us. I ain't gonna work on the railroad, ain't gonna work on the farm, lay around the shack till that train come back and rolling my sweet baby song. Everybody say, rolling my sweet baby song, rolling my sweet baby song, lay around the shack till that train come back and rolling my sweet baby song. Where were you last Friday night? I was laid up in jail. You were running the street with another man. Wouldn't even go my bail. Oh, rolling my sweet baby song, rolling my sweet baby song. I'm gonna lay around and shout till that train come back and rolling my sweet baby song.
Well, my mama and daddy, they don't like you.
Tell me about it.
Drove you away from my door. If I had it to do all over again, I'd never take you there anymore.
Rolling my sweet baby song, rolling my sweet baby song. I'm gonna lay around and shout till the bell train come back and rolling my sweet baby song. I'm gonna lay around and shout till the bell train come back, rolling my sweet baby song. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed the Johnny Cash. We're gonna go over there and stand that
Thank
corner.
you so much for being here tonight. Of all the places in the world you could be on this beautiful day, you chose to be with us, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Come on, let's give him a big